It is Friday, July 1st. Let's talk PlayStation. First off, I would like to preface this episode right away by saying this is actually being pre-recorded about like a day and a half early. I'm actually going to be leaving for about 4 days. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, so I basically have to do this now, or I'm not going to be able to do it at all. Or at the very least, I guess I could have done it while I'm there, but it would be shitty because it'd be on my phone or something from a hotel room or something. So we're not going to do any of that, especially since there actually is some interesting things to talk about as I'm recording this. But I'm just letting you know right now in case a big major news story breaks out and I am for some reason not even talking about it. So this is relevant up to basically Thursday morning. So first story is Uncharted 4 DLC. Naughty Dog just recently confirmed that for their single player DLC, they're basically going to be waiting a while until that's actually finished. They more or less said they just started working on that DLC once they actually shipped the game in May. So you are going to be waiting a little bit to actually see some stuff coming from them. But they actually just recently did update 1.08 for the game and for the multiplayer, and they're bringing all sorts of the first round of DLC to the game too, so you can enjoy that for a while. Next up, Sony has recently confirmed that PlayStation Plus subscriptions are at 20.8 million, which is one of the first times in a long time where we've gotten an official number of PlayStation Plus subscribers, and that also puts into perspective that about half of PS4 owners have a PlayStation Plus account, which I actually thought it was a little bit more than that, or I thought they'd be a little bit further along. But technically, if you're comparing it to their, previous fiscal years and everything, they're obviously, saying it's growing, which is a good thing, of course. And the typical, Sony Interactive Entertainment, multi-billion-dollar company business, where they're like, oh, here's the strategies that we're going to be doing moving forward to kind of, keep players, intrigued with the service. Keep new people to be subscribing to the service and whatnot. Basically, Sony's more or less saying that they're going to be encouraging more people to actually join the service, and they're moving a lot of their services. They're moving a lot of their player base into game content services, and of course, what I mean by that is not only PlayStation Plus, but PlayStation Vue, which is their TV service, PlayStation Now, which is their game service, and all the other third-party services that are on PlayStation 4. And of course, 2016. That's kind of where we're all, going towards nowadays. It seems like it's less and less about actual content ownership and more like streaming your media, accessing it from a third party, cloud storage, all that shit. That's where we're going to, and that's kind of what Sony's also doing with PlayStation Plus and their services moving forward. Now to talk a little bit about PlayStation Neo, Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Andrew House was talking about PlayStation Neo, of course, acknowledging a few of the things that a lot of people are concerned about, and kind of telling people, no, this isn't what it's going to be. So he basically said it's not going to be say PC upgrades or even mobile phone upgrades, which I know sometimes I use that as an analogy of it's more like the mobile phone industry where it's more powerful hardware, but the apps and everything are still the same. He's saying it's not going to be that in terms of how frequent a new console will get released. He's saying it's not going to be 1 or 2 years. He's saying that in fact Sony's pretty much staying firm on the traditional console business. Every 5, 4, 6, 7 years possibly. Whenever the company of course feels right with doing a next generational leap. But they're saying PS4 Neo isn't a generational leap, but it's exactly what I've also been calling it, and what everyone else has been calling it. It's a mid-cycle update. So you don't, shouldn't be expecting a new PlayStation every 1 or 2 years. This is just a stopgap for what apparently might be PlayStation 5 or whatever Sony decides to do for their next full-on piece of hardware. Which is good. That's easing a lot of people's minds. That's a lot of people are really concerned about. And I am still somewhat flabbergasted that people aren't getting it. But yes, this is a mid-cycle console. The first of its kind. Microsoft's doing the same thing, more or less. We're not entirely sure if Microsoft has that same sort of idea. If they, I would assume it's the same idea over in the Microsoft camp, where it's let's do a more powerful Xbox One right now, and then when we're ready for the big leap, the next chronologically named, Xbox or something, then they'll do that too. Which kind of segues nicely into our next news story. Because it seems like Sony and Microsoft, despite the fact that they're completely separate, companies, and it seems like even more so today, their strategies are becoming more and more different. At the same time, they're doing very similar things without even realizing it with one another. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they're both doing mid-cycle updates, and of course, it's not like they knew about each other. The fact that they're doing mid-cycle updates is So it's surprising and not surprising at the same time. It's surprising because, oh, they're actually, you know, both doing it, but it's not surprising because, again, the console industry has to change into something, and this is the kind of one that makes the most sense, and it made the most sense to Sony and Microsoft, with both of them not even realizing it to each other. And so that's what we're going to be talking about next, which is that we finally have some rumors surfacing for PlayStation 4 Slim, an actual slimmed-down version of PlayStation 4, not just Neo. So this is coming from a Wall Street reporter who said that a Sony analyst was saying that you should expect a PS4 Slim, not Neo, at around September for Tokyo Game Show. So this is kind of what I was talking about just before. It's like Sony and Microsoft are doing the same thing. So now we've got 2 mid-cycle consoles and 2 slim refreshes of the current console. And this isn't even particularly surprising for Sony. In fact, for a while now, for the past few months, I've been pretty surprised because it's like, where is Sony's slim PS4? They slim down every one of their consoles. They do this every single time. And that's what's always baffled me when people say, oh, like, I don't think Sony's going to do a PS4 Slim. Like, what are you talking about? They've slimmed every single console they've ever made. Of course they're going to do a PS4 Slim. But at the same time, we have heard 0 rumors about a PS4 Slim. Now we've actually are hearing some somewhat concrete evidence. It's not, you know, finalized or anything, obviously. Nothing's finalized until we actually see the damn thing. But, you know, you're thinking, oh, you know, so when I'm going to see it, September around Tokyo Game Show. Keep in mind, whenever Sony does do slim consoles, it's typically that immediacy thing. You know, they'll announce it, and it's typically available, like, within a few weeks, maybe a month, probably, like, right then and there. You know, this has happened with PS3 Slim, PS3 Super Slim, and, you know, PS Vita as of, like, say, recent, within, like, the last 10 years. Like, it's the immediacy thing. When they just slim down their consoles, they're available right away, so that's why there's not going to be some sort of big announcement, you know, say now, and then waiting a few months for it to come out. Like, they'll probably announce it at Tokyo Game Show or something, and it's going to be available right away. So now you've got Sony and Microsoft doing, like the same thing, but again, they're also different because Microsoft's going the Xbox PC route and unifying those 2 platforms, whereas Sony's still very concerned with, you know, keeping all their games exclusive and keeping you in the PlayStation ecosystem tightly, and Microsoft's okay with, you know, allowing people to bounce back between Xbox and Windows. So I know the one thing that's on a lot of people's minds is, like, how much more slim can the PS4 really be? Because if you actually look at the box, it actually is quite a good form factor, and it is quite a small unit already, and it always looked small, of course, in comparison to, say, Xbox One when it originally came out. So, and it made a lot of sense for Microsoft to slim down their box because it was already so big. But Sony is a hardware company. I have no doubt that they can actually make the thing smaller because they have done it every single time. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like, and it'll probably be more power efficient. It will probably be another one of those situations where, and this is the sad thing about a lot of Sony's revisions, is that they do a lot of cost cutting, which makes sense because they do sometimes make they couple it along with, like, a price drop or something so that it's a more affordable box and it's you know, the latest version of it. But they usually do, like, a lot of cost cutting things, like the fat PS3 to slim PS3 was like one of their biggest, like, cut downs. You know, you lost a lot of USB ports, you know, the touch sensitive buttons, the gloss finish. You know, it was just basically a black box with buttons, and it played your games. And people are fine with that, and most people actually like that. But I'm just wondering what that'll probably be, what will be the case with PS4 Slim, because they've actually already kind of done that with the current PS4. I mean, if you go by actual model numbers, you know, launch PS4s, and if I think 1 or 2 revisions after that, you know, the faceplate of the top faceplate of the PS4 was a glossy finish. Now it's a matte finish on the newer models. The buttons were touch sensitive on the first few models, and now they're actual tactile buttons. So it'll probably be the same thing with the new Slim model as well. Anyway, those are just some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. Again, this will probably still get uploaded as it normally would on Friday. So when you're watching this on Friday, there was probably like a good day and a half where, like, some major news could break, and if it did, and I'm not talking about it, that's why. Isolated scenario, because honestly in the past 4 years I've been doing Let's Talk PlayStation, I've never really had a situation where I absolutely could not be home to record in the timely manner that I usually do, so just letting you know right now. Random gaming topic this past week was about video game crushes. Somebody asked me what my video game crushes were, which is the silliest, nerdiest, one of the stupidest videos I've ever done, but that was actually a lot of fun to record. So by all means, I implore you to check that out and share your crushes with me as well, because that's what we do on this channel. We talk, and we share, and we just, you know, we have a good time together, you and me, because I love you guys. Also, the new Let's Play, it's finally happened. It's coming this Monday. It's Resistance 3, and it's a co-op Let's Play. So one of the few things you actually get on this channel is another voice. I'm playing the game with one of my best friends, Brandon. We go through the whole game together, and we have a lot of fun. I annoy the shit out of him that whole game. I'm finally like editing a lot of the parts, because I recorded it a while ago, and I was just saving it, because I think at the time when I recorded it, I also had done the Resistance 1 Let's Play, so I didn't want to do another Resistance Let's Play right away. But I had to record the Resistance 3 co-op playthrough then, because they were shutting down the servers, so I like had to do it back then, because I recorded both of our screens. And in this Let's Play, it's kind of achievement hunter style, where I cut between our screens and everything. So yeah, I'm finally editing it again now, and it's just funny. I guess I just was harassing him the whole time. But so that will be going up Monday, and that's pretty much it. So that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday.